Hey, good morning, everyone. Welcome to 7 a.m. So, how to win at life? How to win at life? Let's talk about that. I could use a lot of help on that. Alrighty, good morning, good morning. Let's do this. So, it is 7 a.m. It is April 30th, last day of the month, 2021. My name is John Henry Soto. Thank you for tuning in. If you like these videos, I've done about almost 100 now mornings. It's been really awesome coming to you every morning, Monday through Fridays at 7 a.m. live to talk about life and to talk about things. And this is such a benefit for me that sometimes I feel it's a little bit of a selfish thing, but I've been getting some nice feedback from people, and they've been actually telling me how much they enjoy it as well. So I've been really blessed with that. It's sort of a give and give. It's a win-win for me because it's almost like therapy sometimes. Sometimes I even read things and I'm going through things and I'm like, oh yeah, why didn't I think of that? You dummy, So I'm learning so much about myself and life, and it's been a blessing. So if you do like this, please like, share, and subscribe on my YouTube channel, Facebook. If you're on Facebook, please share my show, share the page, and I'm also on Twitch. So I want to thank you for that, for welcoming me, this crazy little man, into your space every morning. All right, so we are winning at life. That's such a cliche, right? How to win at life. 15 ways to win at life. I mean, it's such a difficult thing to really say, right? Because there's so many different ways of winning, and there's so many different um, ideas that people have. But generally, generally, when you read a lot of these things that I'm going to read today, I have 15 of them. Um, there is something similar to all of them, right? Everyone has some kind of common ground when it comes to being happy and reaching for success and being on the path of success. There is something, a commonality to everything, right? And everyone seems to have certain things in order. Now, not everyone follows these in order, right? Some of them put them into different order of magnitude, right? The importance that something is. So that can be a little bit different, right? Some people would say spirituality is the number one thing, and some people would say organization. Some people would say it's family. Some people would, but they're all pretty much agree on certain things that are always constant in trying to live a happy life, right? And we're gonna go over 15 of them. I'll just read them out, and then we'll just discuss. If anybody has any comments or any questions or any objections, please put them into the comment section, and I will flash it on the screen, and we will discuss. All right. So number one on this list here is something that I talk about a lot, which is optimism. So one thing that I did have when I was growing up in the South Bronx was optimism. I didn't know I had that. I realized later I had that. But optimism was something that I always thought in my head, I'm going to work towards it being better. I didn't know how I was going to do that. I didn't know where I was going to do that. I didn't know with who I was going to do that. I didn't know how to do that. But I knew that one of the goals that I had was to just be a better person, be a better musician, be a better spiritual person, just be better, right? Moving forward. I didn't know how I was doing it, but I knew that I wanted to grow up, in and have the ability to be better. And that to me was my optimism, right? Now optimism can be different for everyone, right? It can be slightly different. But for me, that's what it was. It was just having that hope that things were going to be better, and just know that it was my responsibility. I knew that early on that I really didn't have a lot of people that were helping. They were supporting and help are a little bit different, right? Somebody can support somebody but say, I support you 100%, but I really can't help you. I don't have anything to give you. I don't have any advice. I haven't done it myself. So support and help are two different things. I didn't have a lot of the help part, like saying, John, here's some cash, go get yourself this, here's some this, get yourself that. I didn't have any of that. But support, I had a tremendous amount of support, right? I had a lot of friends and family that were very supportive. So that was my optimism. That was for me. And it's different for everyone, right? Number two here is spirituality or a religious belief. Definitely something very important. Early on, I was raised very, very Catholic. My grandparents were Catholic. My grandma was super Catholic, Catholic 2.0. She went to church every Sunday. She was part of a special women's church group that they sat in a different corner of the church, and they wore white blouses with like with this red ribbon with a silver medallion. It was quite intimidating sometimes when you see them walking down. It was like a lot of like Buddhist monks or ninjas or something. But they were very nice women, and my grandmother was very religious, very Catholic. So I was raised with the understanding of spirituality and faith and love and those kinds of things. So I had that um, in me. And I think everyone has to have that for themselves. It has to be real to them, right? You can't force someone. Religion is interesting, right? Because it comes prepackaged to everyone, right? It's not something that you go out and you investigate on your own, which some people do, right? They just want to research spirituality and just feel the love and treat people well, and that's how they do it. At the same time, there's a package of religion, and it's handed to you, and this is the religion, or this one, or this one. So it's a you have to pick which package you want to go for, right? And it's a little bit different with how I recently have been, in the last 25 years, not recently, but it's more of what you find your own way, your own truth by actually researching religions and the world around you. And when you get that, it's really empowering. You do get a tremendous amount of strength in that, um, and that's what I've been doing. And everyone is different. Everyone has their. I don't think that, and I know that there's some religions that feel that if you don't do it this way, then you will not do well later. um and again, that's a package that came in. This is the it could be one of the books, the Bible, the Quran, the all the Torah, the Quran, all these books that I and those are the ones that you go for, right? And but the bottom line of all religion or spirituality is it helping you be better and help others? That to me is the main foundation. If your religion is telling you to hate someone else, then I don't know. I got a little bit. I got some issues with that. But if you actually feel better, if your family's doing well, if you're following your religion and you're handling things in your life where you're moving forward and you're satisfied and you're happy and those around you are happy, mazel tov. All right. Next one is motivation. Motivation is comes in so many different ways, so many different avenues that motivation come. Some people are motivated by watching others do things, or by reading a book, or by listening to music, watching a film that really motivates you, or a religion again, and that's motivation. The next one is proactive approach. So this is a proactive approach means that whatever it is that you're actually confronting, you're going to approach it in a way that you know you're not going to defeat yourself, right? We are sometimes our own worst enemies, right? We have to, our sometimes our fight isn't with anyone else, it's with ourselves, right? So but if you go into something with a proactive viewpoint, where you're going to go into it by applying the things that you've learned, either whether religion, motivation, and the optimism that we talked about, you have a good chance. So if you have an approach that way to everything, whether it's a relationship, your job, your future, your raising your children, proactive approach, you're on the right track. Eagerness to learn. So this is actually tricky. um, People that are very highly educated, like have doctorates degrees and stuff, don't feel that they can learn anything from anything. They don't think they can learn anything. Not all of them. This is I'm not, I don't want to generalize, but some people that I've met, that I've experienced, they have a doctorate and they think that they know more than you in just in everything, and it's and that right there, they lose so many points from that, and they usually end up, not really applying what they've learned to any real degree, because life is about learning. Life is about being able to understand that not everything you've learned is right, and be able to look at it objectively and be like, well, you know what, I thought it was this way, but turns out to be this way, and what am I going to do? you know so these are important to know, that when you meet someone that's highly educated, you have to take it and understand that they may be highly educated in the building that gives out parchment papers for learning about the books that are in there and the people that are teaching you. And that's where your degree comes from, right? It's not a degree in life. It's not a degree in how many, you've helped a lot of people. So here's a degree. It's the degree that comes in that building, right? That whatever that university is that is handing out these things, when you pay them, right? Because you got to pay to get that, right? I know people that are barely high school educated. I did a little college, but barely high school, who have a wonderful understanding of life and are really smart. And there's, you can say it's street smart, whatever you want to call it, but they're just very highly educated in life and things around them. So that's actually really an important thing to look at when you're looking at somebody at education, right? But the willingness to learn more opens up the world, because when you look at something, and I'm very, very into this. I don't know where I got this from, but I do study a lot. My religion, there's a lot of reading in my religion. There's a lot of listening to lectures and a lot of practicals, a lot of writing, and there's a lot of application. So that has actually increased my intelligence and also has helped me, oh, want to learn. So when somebody says something and I'm like, oh, I don't know that. Tell me about that. I'm very fascinated with that. So I love learning. Learning is important. Flexibility. So you have to be flexible on where you are in life, what you're currently doing, how a viewpoint. You can just look at things objectively and be like, okay, maybe that's not how I should do it. Maybe I should do it this way. Maybe somebody gives you a piece of advice and you're like, yeah, but I've always done things my own way. Well, maybe you can be a little flexible on it. Look at it. If you think it's something, if it's really in you that says no, I'm not doing that, then go with that, because that little voice inside is always right. Okay. Adaptability. So being able to adapt. I'm not too fond of this one, because it's saying to go into a situation and you adapt to that situation, which means that you have to change yourself to some degree. So I think that when you go into an environment, you adapt that environment to yourself and you try to fit into that environment. You don't adapt to that environment. And if they don't accept you in that way, or you're not accepted for whatever reason, that's totally fine. You're still doing your thing. So that's my viewpoint on that. Let me know if you have a different viewpoint on that. Social com comp competency. I don't even know what that means. Oh, being competent socially. um, so social skills are social in general right now, because of social media and because of the way we can communicate with one another. Social interaction has been different. Obviously, the last year has really changed how we communicate socially, right? That's a big, giant change. So this one, I'm not going to spend too much time on. It is how you communicate socially in an environment, right? And that's that. High self esteem, very cliche thing to say, very well, yeah, duh, kind of a thing, but how do you get that, right? I think you get that by the ones we just mentioned, you know, learning. You when you learn, when you know a lot of things about yourself and the world around you and what your plans are, that does give you self-esteem. When you accomplish goals and you say, wow, I set out to do this, and here it is, I did it. It's that increases self-esteem, right? Finding opportunities to succeed. So sometimes opportunities will pass you because you're so focused on just one thing, but you have to be open to look and be like, oh, this is interesting, let me take a look at that. Maybe you're not going to dive into it, but be open to the possibilities of being successful in something other than what you're currently doing. And that to me is incredibly important. Next, support from employers, family, community. Yeah, sometimes you run into a situation where you work in an environment, you have a job, and there's not that much support there. Maybe it's a really bad job. Maybe your family filled with a bunch of jerks. Unfortunately, people say it's all about family. It's all about family. But if your family is not supportive, then yeah, okay, you can love your family, but it's not about them right now. You have to try to make your way. So don't put so much emphasis and so much attention on like those around you that you feel that should support you. If you don't feel comfortable, then you have to go somewhere else and find a group and find that community that is going to support you, right? It's employers, family, community, right? If you can't find it from your employers and your family, now employers, you can quit that job. Family, you can't quit, right? You're there, you're stuck. That's the family that you've chosen somehow. You pull that family in. Are not part of this family, and you don't have support from them. Unfortunately, you're stuck with that idea, but you don't have to stick around. You can just distance yourself a little bit from them and continue moving. Now, people say, "Well, that's not nice. Well, you make the choice. You want to stay with people that don't support you just because they're your family, or you want to move on." Remember, Hitler had family too, right? So well, I don't know anything. I don't know much about Hitler, his family. Or did he have brothers and sisters? But can you imagine growing up and being like, "Oh man, that's our brother. Look what he's doing. I don't agree with this. What are you gonna do? Just well, he's family. We got to support him. Let's support the family." No, no, you cut it. You cut. It's okay. Okay, you're a spiritual individual. Just because you were born from that group does not mean that you have to become that group. You can actually break away and become more powerful on your own. Trust me on this. This is actually, you can read a lot about this, but it's a lot of BS if you really think that just you have to stick with people that are not supportive because you've been around. Even having a friend that you've known for 30 years, 20 years, whatever it is, just because you've known them that long and they've been part of your life that long, you have to look at it and say, is this supportive? Is this a supportive person or somebody who's constantly putting me down? Well, you have to make that cut. Just make that cut. You got to make that change, like Michael Jackson said, right? All right. Manageable challenges and difficulties. So this is how you confront things. When things hit your environment, how are you going to confront them? Are you going to be able to handle things that hit your environment, or are you just going to cave or just go along with the flow? I hate when people say that. Well, I just go along with the flow, man. I just go along with the flow, and these are the first people that get taken up by communism, or taken up by a group of people that are their intention is bad. They're the first ones to go because they're like, hey, you know what? I'll just go with the flow. There's no fight in them. And that is how you manage challenges. You have to be able to be strong enough. And all the ones that I mentioned earlier are part of this, right? If you're really confident in who you are, then you can be confident that when you run into problems and situations that you can confront them and be like, okay, this sucks, but I got to handle it, right? Or you may be the one that can help other people, right? I have a good friend of mine that texted me last night, says he needs some advice on something. Does he mind? Do I mind talking to him today at some point? And I said, of course. I said, let's talk. So we're talking later this afternoon. Um, So having those kinds of terminals and those people around you, that you can actually approach, having though that energy that you can go towards and be like, can you help me? Having that back is really, really an important thing. But then once you get it, now you have to hold on to it and understand that this is a learning process, right? When you approach something and you handle it, you just learn something. And that's why challenges make us stronger, right? People who have nothing going on, who everything is easy, everything's been handed to them to a certain degree. They don't have any they don't have to wake up early in the morning. They don't have to go out and hustle and work because they know they're going to have food on the table. They know they're going to have a roof over their head. This is very damaging. This is a very scary thing. I never had any of those things, right? And still this day, we still have to hustle because we got two kids to feed. We have to keep the roof over our head. You have to make a certain amount of money every single month, or else you're in the red, right? So you have to hustle, right? These things, when you go through those challenges, they build character. They build abilities to handle things more and to confront things better. All right, let's move on here because have taken a little bit too much time on some of these. Calm environment. I don't know about that one. That's just talking about your environment. You create your environment, right? Again, it goes a little bit into the adaptability. You create the environment that you want to live in. And if you're creating a bad environment, then people are going to leave, right? But if you create an environment where people are like, I like that guy, I like that girl, I feel like I can be around them, and they may not say that to their heads, but they just know. I always go back to the quote by Maya Angelou, right? People won't remember what you said or what you did, but they'll always remember how you made them feel. So if you make someone feel good, they want to be in your space. Number 14, we're almost at the bottom here. Self rule, which is like self control. So, self control is having the discipline to not do things that you know are harmful, right? Those are common sense things. I grew up with a lot of that because there was a tremendous amount of drugs. There was a lot of teen pregnancies. So, I managed to stay away from that. Although I came close to like messing up a few times, not with drugs, but just starting a family a little bit too early. um but I manage self-control to make sure like, okay, I still have things I want to accomplish. When you do that, it kind of changes the dynamic of life, right? When you suddenly add a family at a very young age and you're trying to achieve something, it changes the dynamic. It doesn't mean that you can't achieve something. It just means that now your responsibilities have shifted a lot, and you have somebody else who needs food, and you have to support. So, having the discipline, that comes also with drinking too much, with eating too much, with sleeping too much, with not working hard enough. It's discipline, right? It's self discipline. It's being able to really, you know, control what the things that you should do and control the things that you shouldn't do. I mean, you should do this, but I shouldn't do this. Self control, right? It goes both ways. People look at self control sometimes like saying like like it's a bad thing. Like you have to stay away from bad things. No, it's also self control to be self control to like say I have to go work and I have to go finish this project or else it's not gonna be go well. So it's self control all around, right? And the last one is skills. You need to build skills, right? Because people are born talented. I think everyone is born talented. Everyone has a talent. But in order to really build that talent, you need to then get the skill. You need to start working on the skill. It's sort of like saying, like the guy who can play basketball really, really well, but it has to have the skill to play in a team and build that team up, and so that team can win. It reminds me of Michael Jordan when he first started playing. He was scoring like 30, 40, 50 points a game, but his team wasn't winning, and he started developing the skill of working in a team, and he started handing the ball off and really working on a team. And, of course, the rest is history, right? He became a legend, not only him himself, which he probably would have done that anyway, but his team became a legendary group, right? They just they won so many championships in a row because he built up his skill that he was born with. He's got this talent, and then he had the talent to play, and then he just started practicing tremendously. As you remember, he was cut in high school from the varsity team, right? Then he made it later. Of course, he went on to do really well in college, but not as well as he did in the NBA, right? And he managed to take that ability and become better. As sometimes you see actors, right? You'll see an actor like in one of his earlier films, and you're like, he was good, but then you see that progression. You see that progress. He's getting better and he's getting better. He's taking his talents that he has and he's developing a skill. And that goes with everything. Whatever it is that you're working towards, you can get better at it and get that skill in order to improve your environment, and to prove that you can actually help others with that skill that you've developed, right? Whether it's in the arts or whether it's in business, right? It's always to make something better, right? That's why we're all here, is to make something better, right? Our environment, ourselves, our family, our friends, even our enemies, we want to try to make them better as well. All right, my friends. Well, thank you very much for tuning in. I appreciate all of you. Thank you. I see we had a lot of people actually watching today, so that makes me feel very, very happy. It is Friday, so I want to wish everyone a blessed weekend. Get out there, kick some butt, do things that you love to do. Make the day great. Make the weekend great. And I will see you all on Monday morning. Um, and that's about it. You can visit my website, johnhenrysoto.com, to see what else is happening in my world. I have a new show coming up on Tuesday, or it's a new show. It's been out. We're on our 10th episode now, and it's called Counterparts, and it's a wonderful show. We're having a great time on that. So that's on Tuesday nights live at 8 p.m. And you can check out my website for more stuff. So make today great. Do the things that you love. Take care of yourselves. And I will see you all on Monday. And as always, peace.